All right, so next question is asking us to choose one of the following processes. So with this one, just choose any of the ones that you're most familiar with. I mean, to be honest, because you've all done it, soldering is an easy win because actually drawing the processes is very straightforward. So I would go with soldering if you get faced with a question like this. Okay, let's look at how many marks it is next. So 6 marks. All right. The good news is with this, the mark scheme actually says you can use just notes and no sketches and you'll still get 5 marks. You can't get 6 because you need to show like a little bit of you need to show a little bit of sketching, but you can still get nearly full marks just by doing notes. So that is good news. So I'm going to write up here soldering. Right, here we go. Now, like I did before, I think a good way to do this is to divide your page in half. Or, sorry, not the page. I'm just going to divide the box in half. I'm just going to draw a straight line. And honestly, guys, the neater you do this stuff, the more impressed the examiner will be. So I think that's a really good thing to aim for. So, soldering. Here we go. So, number 1, you can go really laborious with this if you want. You can be like, plug in soldering iron. All right. 2. Yeah, the next step. I mean, again, this is kind of down to how how detailed do you want to be? Yeah, so it could be like clean PCB with wire wool. Now, if you've never heard of that before, don't worry, that's just an extra stage you can throw in. Then install a component. And they like this kind of thing. And check polarity. Now, polarity is like plus or minus. Now, that's nice. You can almost, if you really want to show off, you can like highlight that in your answer if you want, because it's like, oh, look at me. I know how to check these things. How lovely. Okay, 4. Now we're going to solder it. So we are going to touch the soldering iron tip to the component leg and copper track location and heat for 10 seconds. Okay, there we go. 5. Feed solder in slowly and wait for another 10 seconds. Then the last stage can be remove soldering iron and check for complete soldering connection between wire and track. Now again, this is a minute a mark, so this is 6 marks, so I don't want to spend any longer than about 6 minutes on this. Okay, now I'm just going to do some doodles to go with this. Now you can't do doodles with every stage. I think install's got 2 L's, hasn't it? There we go. I can't do a doodle for every stage because it's a little bit exhaustive. So install a component I could do. So if you really want to do this simply, you can just do it with like 2D sketches if you want. So it could be like, here's my PCB from a side view. There we are. And I'm going to make sure I've got the holes marked on there where the component is going to go through. I guess that's another thing you could do. If you really wanted to go before here, you could actually like preempt it and say like drill holes in necessary places on the track. Okay. Right, now we insert the components. There we go. If this is just like a little resistor or something like that, so it's just going to be like a little sort of sausage shape. There we go. And the leg is going to come out the other side like that there. And there we go. And that's it. I mean, resistors don't have plus and minus, so it doesn't really matter which way around it goes. All right, so that, guys, and that could be enough to get you that one extra mark, to get you full marks. Okay, so touch the soldering iron tip onto that area. So let's flip it upside down now. The same drawing, and we'll just draw it as though we're now soldering it. So I'm just going to get the, let's try and draw this resistor a bit better. There we go. Looks a bit like a dog bone, actually. Okay, and we'll get the legs, and we'll just take it up through the PCB there, and then up like this. Okay, and we're going to get the soldering iron, pointy soldering iron, there it is, and yeah, you can kind of just draw any shape from the side, to be honest, for a soldering iron, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, we can do that. And then after that, we could actually then also have the solder being fed down onto it as well, like that. Okay, so feed solder, okay, remove solder and check, right. Yeah, if you want, you could do this actually. You could have an arrow pointing to like this stage covers, that sketch covers both. Okay, now we'll do the final sketch. Sometimes when you're sketching, you realize there's something you missed off, like whether it's just like a sort of quality control check or something like that, but it never hurts to add more. Like I was saying, if you've got time, you finish the exam quickly, just go back and enhance your notes and sketches. Okay, so I'm going to draw now what the soldered joint should look like. Successfully soldered joint should look something like that. We always say like a volcano or something. There we are. So check connection between wire and track. Check for volcano shape. Okay, and there we go. That's all you need to do, is to that level.